Everybody, it's Ange Sinclair from Digestive Detective. I'll try again. We're not having much luck with the Facebook gods today. I would like to bring on Angie Poulos so we can have a chat about how her journey's been for her health challenges and things, and how she's overcome some of those things. But Facebook is not being our friend this morning. We've had a couple of goes. We can't connect. I've just had 10 minutes of Facebook keeping me stuck on their page. So here she is now, I think. Let's just give that a quick try. Oh no, it's still not going to let me try. That's a pain. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and do the interview without her, and I'll answer, because she so graciously sent me the questions, which is terrific. So that would be really hard. I'm here, you're here, you're here. I know you're here, but I can't get you started. It's just not letting me connect you on today, which is really a pain, because that's all right. We've got the thing. You've graciously given me those. So if you're okay with me reading out your answers and stuff, that would be terrific. And I'll try you throughout and see if I can get you on as we go. So Angie initially came to me for lots of different things. So initially she sought help from me to, she was at a different naturopath, and she wanted to get a second opinion essentially on what she was doing. She was very obsessed with watching a lot of Instagram friends post about SIBO, and just got overwhelmed with the amount of different information, and how there's lots of different information on the internet and not all of it's good. So she recognized this, that she needed to get a second opinion to see what she was doing was working or not. So I think one of the good things about that, when I first seen Angie, she has lots of health complications initially. So I guess I recognised what was happening for her with restrictions and diet and things like that, which is reasonably problematic in my opinion, that people come to me and they're so restricted. I do restricted diets too, but not for very long. So I'm not saying that we shouldn't do them. I think there's a place for them. So Angie said that she recognised that I recognised this, and brought her back to eating just lots of coloured veggies, avoiding inflammatory foods, dairy, sugar, gluten, those sorts of things, and taking supplements to support her thyroid, because she has a condition called Hashimoto's. So what she liked about that was that I didn't restrict her diet too much, and was more concerned on healing her gut than being fixated on the SIBO. Sometimes I see people so fixated on stuff that they can't see the forest for the trees. So what I mean by that is they get so worked up on, oh my God, I must do this and I must do all of that, that they don't actually do the things that support their gut and give it the creativity and the ability to heal itself. So I'm always on the lookout for that. So the next question I've got for Angie is, can you tell me what you experience in terms of digestive symptoms? And she says her symptoms were bloating, constipation, rashes, fatigue, and depression. So she tried low FODMAP and paleo, but still didn't feel like her digestion was improving. I'll just try you again. No. And she'd been on a low FODMAP diet for way too long. So for me, low FODMAP is an 8 to 12 week diet. It damages your gut bacteria in your large colon if you stay on it for too long, so you don't want to do that. And essentially there was not enough fiber, and that was making her constipated. So I see with lots of people that constipation can be a real issue, and that not having enough fiber is problematic. And I see a lot of people who are not having enough fiber, so I think that's good to remember. So she was very stressed about what foods she could and couldn't eat, and the stress also affected Angie's bowels, which could contribute to the constipation. And I see that a lot as well. Even in myself, I see that. So I suggested that Angie really widen the amounts of plant-based food that she was eating, and get lots of polyphenols in a diet, which is the real colourful vegetables like the reds, the purples, the blues, and the blacks. And so more about not so much focusing on the SIBO, but to focus on the feeding of her microbiome in general. So basically she's saying that I helped take the fear and restricted mindset away and opened in her mind the idea of prebiotics and fiber. And so the next question was, what were the challenges you faced when you started working with me? So Angie has bipolar, so she was in the middle of a depressive episode at this point in time, and not working, which meant that she really had too much time to research on Google, and it was really too obsessed about what she was eating and how it might be causing her mood, and which was one of the factors that was impacting on her mental health. So she was round. I think, Angie, you'd agree with me that you were wound pretty tight around food at the outset. And I think that medications that she was on as well were quite serious medications that were also impacting on this, which were making this condition more difficult. So she thinks the mindset piece was really holding her back from healing, and it was keeping her stuck in the depression. And I tend to agree a little bit with that, and also the medication. So that was good. So what results have you received by following the treatment plan we put together? So Angie says, you really got me to widen the amounts of plant-based foods I was eating and to get lots of polyphenols in my diet. You encouraged me not to be so fixated on calling my symptoms SIBO and just eat to feed the microbiome, which I think is so important. Just because it's got a label doesn't mean we need to try and fix it in a different way. So you helped me take away the fear around eating. And she moved from a really restricted low FODMAP diet to introducing these other foods in really slowly. You also tried to get me to change my mindset I was in and open my mind to the idea of prebiotics and fibers. Now, I see this quite a bit. When people are on really restricted diets who have gut problems, they're really not that interested, or they're fearful is probably a better word, of expanding their diet. So that's always a really important thing for me to do, because I see people, the longer that they stay on a restricted diet and only eating 5 or 6 things, the harder it is for them to bring other foods back in. So some of the things that I got Angie to focus on, she says, was focus on exercise and stress management, and encouraged her to take a part-time job that she'd been offered, which was a great opportunity for her. And I think that it really, really gave Angie much needed purpose and meaning in her life, and that has had fantastically positive effects on her health. Since working, she says, she's nowhere near as obsessed with her diet, but she knows that she doesn't eat a lot of fruit and vegetables, and all else fails, she'll be constipated the next day. So it's important that she sticks to the principles that she was taught. She says that she still have a ways to go with healing her gut and managing her stress, but she does have more energy, and she avoids things like dairy, sugar and gluten, because she knows that she'll feel really bad if she eats them the next day. And she's not so restricted that she never eats them, because she does have them every now and again. And she says she has a much more holistic approach to her digestive health from working with me, and from also, which is what I encourage, but also one of the things that I encourage from most people is to get some fun and have some fun in their life. And I think that Ange was so caught up in the everyday bits about what she was going to eat, she was missing that part of her life. So I think that was really, really fantastic for her. So what's the one thing that you love working about me, was my question. And Angie answered by encouraging and seeing the best in me, your empathy and listening skills, you being available to email to answer any questions, and openness to talking about poo, and being excited to hear about her poos when they were increasing. Also, she never forgets the rainbow and diversity, and that's the key. That's a really big key for me, about getting enough fiber and eating the colors of the rainbow every day, because what we know today about gut health is that that's a really important thing, and that she knows also that if she doesn't have enough fiber every day, she won't be regular. So I think that's probably the best of it right there. Sorry, Ange, that I couldn't get you on, and I still can't flick you up. So to anybody who watches, I hope this gives you a bit of an insight to how working with me can be helpful, and it's not just about this is what you need to take for your gut. It's about all those lifestyle things too, and it's about in the membership I actually talk about the 8 health zones, exercise, diet, lifestyle, stress management, sleep, all those sorts of things. So I think that's a really important contribution to our health. It's not just about food and exercise, it comes into so much more, and for our mental health. So it's about getting all those things to come in line, and I'm so pleased that Ange has had a positive result, and that life is now reasonably good for her. So everybody, thanks for watching, and Ange, thanks for bearing with me with the Facebook debacle. I'm not sure why we couldn't connect with that today, and I'll talk to everybody soon. Thanks so much.